We are having an absolutely ridiculous time, James. We've had all kinds of interesting things over the last 24 hours, and this will be our 4th leopard in 24 hours, which is really quite amazing. So you can see the big Tingana, and Seb and I are just kicking ourselves because we drove here 5 minutes ago. Well, actually, we started our game drive here, and I was saying that I heard alarm calls this side, and I had a good feeling on Leopard Alley, and well, there's Tingana right there. So we must have missed him earlier, but at least we've managed to find and catch up with him now, and he's looking around and looking quite hungry, so I think he's possibly trying to go hunting at this time. You can see his tummy is quite sucked in, but if he heads straight south from where he is now, he's going to end up getting a collision course with Hosanna. He's going to go straight to where Hosanna is, and we know that Tingana does sometimes go to Treehouse Dam, so it's going to be interesting to see where he goes from here and whether or not he ends up in Hosanna's area. It is undoubtedly him with the little smiley face on his shoulder and that big dewlap that he has, but he is definitely looking hungry and as though he's trying to find something to eat. So I would imagine he's going to be on the prowl for sure. Look at that dewlap. He is massive. You realize when you see him just how much growing little Hosanna has got to do. Anya, who's 12 years old. Hello, Anya. Welcome, and I hope that you're enjoying this afternoon. You want to know how leopards kill their prey. Well, Anya, what they will do is they will use their camouflage to try and ambush that prey, which means they sit in wait, and they'll hopefully that leopard will come, the animal will come very close to them. Then they'll use very, very, very strong, powerful front legs to explode out of that area and run after their prey animal, and then from there they're going to use their front legs to grab, and strong front legs to pull them down, and then they'll use their mouth with their big canines, so those big long teeth, to try and grab the animal by the throat, and that will mean that it will able to then suffocate or to sever the jugular of that particular prey animal. So there he comes, ambling along as only Tingana can do. Now hopefully he doesn't decide to cross down this drainage, because if he does, there's no way for us to be able to keep up with him. Oh, but he's going to stop out in the open. Look at that. Hello, big boy. You are looking very good. Little thin, but still looking massive. And like I say, he's got to have one of the biggest dewlaps out there. Look, he's seen something now. What's interesting is he's heading away from Tingana, from Hosanna, but what he is heading towards is that drag mark, and he will pick up the scent very quickly. But you see he's salivating as well. I wonder if there's not another leopard here that he's seen, because he's salivating, and when they salivate is normally when they see another leopard. It's not when they see a food item. When they're hunting, they don't worry too much about salivating. It's normally if they're excited by seeing something else. It could also be because he's hot and he's panting, but look how he's trotting off into this bush here. I wonder if we're going to be able to keep up with him, Seb. So, Anya, you're wondering if female leopards will fight for territory. Anya, yes, they will. We had two females fighting the other day, Shongile and Tandi. So females will fight for territory because they're fighting for places to have their young ones, for food, for water. So they're going to make sure that they try and keep those areas for themselves. They're not going to want their offspring to have danger from other females, so they will fight with one another. But it tends to be the males that fight more than the females. The females sometimes will just see each other and try and move away, but they will sometimes fight as well. What have you seen, boy? You've seen something. I can't see down into this drainage. It's just far too thick to be able to see anything, and there's really very few places to cross. It's a steep drainage. I know this one very well because we often walk it when we're on our bushwalks, and we can kind of get in here and hide away from elephants a lot of the time. So if he goes down, we're going to have a real struggle to try and keep up with him. But he's definitely aware of something. No, don't go that way. No. Alright. I didn't do it. You're wondering why he's drooling. So, as I was saying just now, it could be for two different reasons. The one reason could be that he's drooling because it's very hot and he's been panting excessively, and the panting means that he's getting a lot of moisture developing, and he's then unfortunately starting to kind of drool from the dryness of his tongue as excessive saliva is being produced, or he's seen another animal. And that means that his adrenaline picks up and then he starts to sort of salivate like that. Now Seb, I wonder if we can't get through there. He's just dropped down behind here, so let's just try another way around. Sorry. Poor Rusty is getting a bit of a workout today. Between the honey badger debacle and Tingana, it's going to be a rough day for Rusty. Rusty, you picked a bad day to come back to work. But at least we can get into the riverbed here, which is great news, because I didn't think we would be able to. Come on, come on. There we go. Sorry, Seb, you're right there? Can you smell the popcorn, Seb?
Oh, yeah.
See, there's a drag mark here as well. I wonder if there wasn't another kill here at some point. Oh, I don't know if we're going to get through here. Yeah, we're going to have to go around. It looks like another drag mark here. I wonder... This could also be for a porcupine, because porcupines will also feed in these areas, and they do have their quills that sometimes drag behind them, so it could be for them without really looking properly. It's difficult to say. I don't know how we're going to keep up with him in this. Jacqueline, you're wondering why male leopards have dewlaps? Well, it's much like a male lion's mane. In a way, it serves to show females that they are big, dominant males. Also, it will have some sort of protective function. When these guys are fighting, we're going to have to just drop our aerial, so I do apologize if there's a bit of a breakup in signal while we go through here. So we'll go through quickly. So they will do that. Also, that excess skin is going to help with them being able to protect themselves from being bitten by other leopards. Seb, I don't know how we're going to follow this male, but we're going to try. This is not a very friendly section, and Tingana has lost me twice before in this area, so it's not a pleasant place to follow him. Come on, Rusty. Here we go. So you can see we're shooting for the moon by going up in the air like that. Right, let's see if we can try and find where he went, Seb. But it is thick in here. And lots of monkey orange, which is a horrible type of plant. No, I don't see anything there. He must have gone across here and moved off. Can you see him? Ah, there he is. So we've managed to find him. Seb's eagle eye has spotted him once again. Is he hunting a nyala? Is there a nyala just in front? Okay, we'll switch off then because we're making a lot of noise to be if he's hunting, so I'd rather just keep quiet. There's the nyala. I can see the nyala in front, and I can see where Tingana is. So the nyala is behind those wattles over there. And Tingana's to your left there. There he is. There he is. So there goes Tingana. He's slowly but surely creeping up on these nyalas. So that's what he spotted. And he's using this undulating terrain to perfect effect. So going down using the bank to be able to stalk up closer. I can see the nyala up ahead. They have got no idea that Tingana is anywhere near them. And it's going to be super interesting to see if he can get any closer. His ideal strategy would be probably to come down into the riverbed again and use this thicket just to get a little bit closer, and then from there launch a surprise attack. But this is a perfect place for a leopard to hunt, and this is why the leopards love moving around in this area, because they can get into these thickets and their spots just are perfect camouflage, so they can creep around. You can just see his spots behind all of that. I think he's just behind there, isn't he, Seb? Somewhere there. But I'm hesitant to move because I don't want the nyala to bolt off because of the noise that we're making. The nyala are somewhere in that area at the moment, so if I see them moving a little bit, we will try and reposition slightly. Planes and trains, you're wondering if leopards will eat more in colder weather. I suppose they would, because their body is probably using a lot more energy to heat up, but then again, staying cool also uses energy. So you'll find that they will hunt if an opportunity presents itself. So sometimes in summer they go through a rut of killing a lot, and sometimes it's in winter that they get a lot of meals. You must remember that also in summer is the lambing season for most of our antelope, so they take advantage of that and they will stuff themselves on all of these small babies that are inexperienced and are not able to outrun them. So they do eat a lot in the summer months as well, and like I say, the heat will mean that they'll also utilize quite a bit of energy. I'm just going to try and see. The Nyala have drifted slightly from where we are. I can't see him anymore, Seb. Is he still there? Can you still see him? Oh, there he is. Mr. P, you're wondering what the biggest prey item Tingana could potentially bring down. Well, the biggest item that I've seen him bring down was about a year-old giraffe. In fact, maybe just over a year old. It was a massive giraffe that he brought down, so which was really quite something. But he's also brought down adult wildebeest. He's brought down baby buffalo. He was once even seen feeding off a fully grown buffalo. Now, that was last year when there was the drought and the buffalo was very weak, but he was seen with the buffalo alive the night before, and the buffalo was a bit doddery, and the next morning he was found there with the buffalo feeding off it. So whether he actually killed the buffalo or the buffalo died of natural causes and he then just stayed around and scavenged is anyone's guess. But I have seen him bring down a 1-year-old giraffe, which is a massive meal. So he can still bring down very large animals. You see how he's slinking and using the thickets and the cover. So you see him just slinking across. Now, I don't know how we're going to get back towards him again, Seb. Let's see if we can go through here. The Nyala's gone further down the drainage, so let's see. Oh, we're so lucky. We've got a nice little crossing point right here. It's almost perfectly designed for us to get over. Come on, Rusty, keep quiet. You don't need to go to gym today. You've got a perfect core workout by this undulating terrain. It gives a good ab workout, that's for sure. Just like Taylor. So Taylor's working the biceps, I'm doing the abs. We got a complete safari workout. There he is on top, you see, and there's the Nyala down here. So he's on top over there, slinking through, and he's coming around using this thicket, and hopefully he's going to come down towards where this Nyala is on my right-hand side. So the Nyala is just in here. Now, sorry, Seb, I know the angle is terrible. I'm going to try to get us up, but that Nyala is looking. It's watching in that direction, so I'm trying to just stay quiet and give Tingana and the Nyala the best possible chance for either one to pick up their respective targets, so to speak. But that Nyala is absolutely oblivious. Look how it's trying to smell. Big, deep breaths that it's taking in. Where's Tingana gone? The last time I saw him, he was creeping just on the top side of these Nyala. He wasn't very far at all. The Nyala knows something's up. You can see the way she was taking in those deep breaths. Look at how she's watching. She can hear every now and then there's movement. So I'm sure she knows something's up. The male is completely unperturbed. The male's behind that bush. You might just see his horns moving every now and then. He doesn't seem to be too worried about what's going on. But I'm sure Tingana's in that thicket just to their left. I believe all of you are rooting for Tingana and not the Nyala. Well, yes, I suppose Tingana does need a meal, and we do have lots of Nyala, so it would be good for him. But it's always sad when you see them hunting these animals, and can you imagine the fear that this animal must be going through? It knows there's something afoot, it knows something's around. You can see it's trying to see, trying to sniff, it's trying to listen. So it's really difficult for these Nyala. Can you a situation where you know something's here, but you can't see it? It must be a horrific way to kind of live life. But Catherine, you say the Nyala knows something's up? Definitely. Look at that nose. Look how it's opening and taking deep, deep breaths. And ears are listening. Now the Nyala is walking the right way to get away from where Tingana is. If Tingana had stayed where he was, which is right where we are now, this Nyala would have been walking straight towards him. But it could be that Tingana's worked out that the wind and the angle of the sun is not ideal for him to have hunted from here, because the wind feels like it's coming over my shoulder. In fact, actually, it's blowing towards me. So he really should have just stayed where he was and shown a bit of patience. Can you see him, Seb?
Yeah, but I see the male, I think. Is it the male?
No, male Nyala is here. It's just on my right. Let me just go over this ridge, because I've unfortunately got Seb in a very bad place at the moment. Chastity, you saying you've never seen Tingana hunt? Normally he strolls by and disappears in 2 minutes, and that's the end of it. I know, Chastity, he's a bit of a difficult leopard to concentrate on and to try and find and to spend time with, but it's really exciting when you see big male leopards hunt like this. It's an incredible display, and if he manages to grab one of these Nyala, you'll see that to pull down a Nyala of that size takes tremendous effort and a serious amount of strength. So it's going to be quite something if he does get anywhere near those Nyala and he does go after them. But the last time we saw him is just to the left of that Nyala. So there's a very tall tree, that tall tree there that you can see, and he was underneath that tall tree. So he's not far from where those Nyala are, but the Nyala are starting to now drift a little bit more away from where Tingana was. But let's see, maybe he's managed to get himself around a bush somewhere and we just can't see him at this stage. But he has got all the elements perfectly aligned for him. It's thick, it's dense, the sun is at a low oblique angle, so he can use that to his advantage. Down here in the riverbed there's not too much of a breeze to speak of, so he might use that all to his advantage. But look how beautiful that male Nyala is. White markings, the beard. I don't know if maybe Tingana's moved further down, Seb, I'm not sure. I don't see any sign of him. And I can hear other vehicles further down. I wonder if they don't have him and he's gone past these Nyala. I might have to just quickly ask for an update from Tax. Razor, you say, oh, this is your favorite antelope, sadly. Well, Razor, don't worry. These antelope are still very much in the game. You can see they're aware, they're looking, and they're actually heading the opposite direction to where we last saw Tingana. So they, if anything, are putting distance between them and their predator, so they're doing the right thing. Go ahead, Tax. So I just need to quickly talk on the radio because Tax asking me... Okay, so Tingana's long gone already. He's going towards our dead white-tailed mongoose, which is quite interesting. Okay, copy. I'm coming there now. I don't know if you'll be able to get a cruiser there, though, Tax. Now, it's interesting because Tingana is going straight towards our dead white-tailed mongoose. I think you're going to have to drop the aerial, Seb, and then duck for cover. You good? Okay, watch your head. Right, now I need to try and find a way to get to where Tingana is and try and actually get to that white-tailed mongoose. And while I do that, let's go across to Mr. Hendry, who I hope... Well, guys, James is going to carry on with his Facebook Live, so to see if those cheetah decide to maybe get up and start hunting again. And in the meantime, we're still with Tingana. We've had an absolute torrid time trying to keep up with him. He's taken us through hell and back. He went past the dead mongoose, sniffed it, and decided that wasn't for him, and then left it alone, and is now carrying on. And like I say, it really is dense, it's thick. It's been a bit of a torrid time trying to actually keep up with him at the moment. So we're going to try and carry on, although where he's heading now is at least into a fairly more pleasant part. Oh, no, now he's decided to stop. You can just see a little tip of the tail as it's going around the bush. So we'll try and follow him through there. There's either two paths. He's either going to drop down into the Mulawati or he's going to go carry on towards Twin Dams. But I think Mulawati is eventually where we're going to end up. Now, there are some people that are taking photographs, so we're just waiting for them to have their photographs and get the chance to see him. And once he moves off, then we'll try and follow him. Now, Megs, I heard you say vets, but I didn't hear the rest of the question because I was just thinking about something else, and my brain is a bit slow this afternoon. Yes, Yvette, leopards are solitary hunters, so you'll find that they will move around. They pretty much are solitary cats, and so Tingana is going to hunt all by himself. He's not going to use anybody else to hunt, so he's going to try and do his very best to hunt all on his own. Now, I'm going to try and see if I can't find another way around, because, like I say, don't want to ruin these guys' photographs, but at the same time, we can't just sit and stare at a bush while they all see a leopard. So we're going to try and just reposition. Now, it seems as though every time you guys are with us, we can't get a visual of Tingana. Every time you're not with us, he lies down and we just watch him ever for so long. Just now he was down for about 10 minutes and we were watching him beautifully in the sort of light, and he was just sitting and he was almost eye level. It was really very beautiful. So Seb, you can see him, eh? Is he mobile again? Okay. You want to stay right here? Do you not think let's go forward while we can, while he's still... Oh, this is such thick bush. There we go. So he's actually sitting, which means that if we can get here, then that is absolutely perfect. How's that, Seb? Oh, my pleasure. So you can see he's just watching what's going on, and he's definitely seen something. What it is, I'm not quite sure. But he's on the hunt. He's a hungry boy at the moment, so whatever it is, I'm sure he's looking to try and take advantage of that sun starting to set now. It's that time of the day where you'll find that leopards will spend a vast majority of their time trying to hunt and trying to go after whatever is in the general vicinity. And this is a great area for things like nyala. You can see, look how he's sniffing. Isn't that beautiful? He's got such an incredible stare on him. It's very, very intimidating, that's for sure. What have you seen? I can't see what he's seen, but I'm sure it's something like a nyala or a bushbuck, given where we are. We're right on the banks of the Mulawati at the moment, and that's perfect. Look how he's moving. Look, he's in full stalk mode. Isn't this cool? He's definitely seen something. Look how he's using the car to sneak around in front. There he goes, just in front of us. And he's creeping down underneath the foliage. And that's that typical leopard crawl that he's got going. I have no idea what he's busy hunting, but whatever it is, he's very keen on it, that's for sure. There he is. Look at how he places his paws very, very gently, and the back foot will go exactly where that front foot was, so as that they don't make too much noise. It's called a direct register, and it's the way that they walk is to try and eliminate noise. So you'll see kudu, nyala, bushbuck, they walk in a similar fashion. Now he's sitting down. What has he seen? I can see francolins moving around there. Surely he's not hunting francolins. Seb, I'll try reposition for you now. Give me 2 seconds. I also don't want to spoil his hunt, whatever he is, but I've got a nice clear gap here, so it should be fine without chasing anything away. And the fact that he's sat down possibly means that he's just watching what's going on. So from cheetah hunting to the other spotted cat that's also hunting. Oh, there's an impala right here, Seb. There's impalas right here. So I'm going to turn off here. I don't want to go any further, but the impala's just in front there. So it's just through that little thicket. You can just see its face looking at us. You see the eye there? So that's the impala. Look at that camouflage. Great camera work, Seb. That's beautiful. How cool is that? And Tingana is just to my left. So the impala has no idea that Tingana is here. And he's low and flat to the ground. The impala is a bit kind of worried about what's going on. So we're going to try and sit quietly as possible and hope that we don't attract too much attention. Obviously the impala is looking at us because it can see the vehicle. It's not sure that anything's going on. Tingana, keep your tail down. His tail's flicking up every now and then with excitement. So just keep your tail down and you'll have this. And as it's getting darker, so the favor is going more and more and more into Tingana's sort of side of things. But that impala has no idea that this leopard is here. It's sitting just watching and trying to look around. I'm sure, much like the nyala, thinks something is up, but it's just not 100% sure what it is just yet. And if that impala turns its back, that's what Tingana wants, is that he can then get into this deep thicket that's between us and the impala itself, and he can use that to his advantage. Rookie, you say, wow, look at that concentration. Exactly, he is really concentrating, and that impala is actually starting to feed now. Its head is down. It's not concentrating at all, and it's turning its back towards Tingana, which is perfect. That's exactly what we need. We need that to happen, because then Tingana's got a chance to creep in and get a little bit closer. But you can see he's just watching. Angeline, you say this is such an awesome representation of how leopards hunt. Well, we are so fortunate, Angeline, to watch this. This is not something that you witness every day. This impala is moving now. It's moving into the deeper, denser thicket, and that might be a bad move for this impala. I think the impala is a bit... Look, Tingana's up and moving. So he's noticed that the impala is now moving. There we go. You see, he's using the cover of the bush to get behind this impala. I wonder if he's going to get this right. See, we've lost visual of him now because he's gone behind the thickets and I can't see him anymore. But the impala and him are both right behind you, and I don't want to move because I don't want to spoil it for either one of these individuals. We're trying to let them both have as equal opportunity as possible. I can see Tingana's spots and I can see the impala coming out on the right here. So the impala is coming right past our car. Tingana is not far behind him, and the impala has no idea that Tingana is coming. So Tingana will probably appear in the next, I would say, 15 seconds or so. He's going to start coming out, but he's going to have to get a move on if he's to catch up with that impala. Wow, this is exciting, isn't it? It's always amazing when you're in the thickets with these animals and you're trying to see and watch what's going on. It really is special. So even though we can't see anything, there's this atmosphere in the air. It's almost as though you could cut it with a knife as this leopard is following this impala through these thickets. Now he should appear there somewhere. He might have stopped just to work out his next move, because that impala is going to a lot more open section than what it currently is in at the moment. Louise, you're wondering what the success rate is for leopard hunts. Well, Louise, it's a very low success rate, unfortunately. Most leopards will only kill about 30 to 40% of the time that they actually hunt. So there's a lot of times that they fail. We've seen him already run past Nyala, and now he's after these impalas. And the chance now is almost gone. If he had come around the other way, he chose the wrong side. If Tingana had come through the front side in front of our car and sat right by the edge of this thicket, that impala would have ran straight into him. Instead, he went round and tried to follow the impala through, and that's where he's made a mistake, unfortunately. But we'll try and see if we can find him again quickly, because I don't want to lose sight of him before he disappears on us again like he did with the Nyala. I can't see the impala anymore as well. The impala seems to have moved. The impalas are clever. They know at this time of the day that there are predators lurking, and that means that they need to get into more open clearings where they cannot get caught by a lurking predator in the thicket. Now, where is Tingana? The last time I saw him, he was right here. There he is. Oh, Beard, you say you're on the edge of the seat. Well, I think Tingana unfortunately has blown this hunt. I think he went the wrong way, like I say, because I can see the impala is drifting now over a big open clearing and Tingana is actually lying down. He's no longer stalking. He's just sitting here, so I'm going to try and get us in to where he is. There we go. So the impala has drifted quite far away on my right-hand side. You can see Tingana's demeanor has changed completely. He's no longer in that serious stalking mode. He's kind of now just sitting and just taking a bit of a breath and getting his sort of composure before he carries on. Maybe what he's hoping is that that impala turns and starts coming south along the other side of this thicket, and he can then use this little undulating terrain to his advantage and get onto the other side and stalk him. But like I say, he just made an error in that he went around the wrong side of the thicket. Had he used the thicket to his advantage, that impala would have walked into him and he would have had a much more successful kill. Well, much more successful hunt, should we say, because it would have been successful if he had killed. As you can see, he's still alert, but he's definitely not in the same demeanor that he was earlier. Earlier he was crouched, he was poised, he was locked onto that impala and really focused, whereas now he's kind of looking around. He's not really as focused on a specific target and a lot more relaxed in his posture. His head is not down. He's still kind of searching to see where this impala has gone to. But you can see, look how he's watching. There we go, and off he goes again. Back on the move and back trying to find food. Now don't go that way. Back to being Tingana, as Seb says. Seb, I feel like we're going to go to the Mulawati for some reason. This is not friendly terrain. So I just want to tell the guys on the other side there that he's now going back into the Mulawati. I don't know how we're actually going to follow him in here, but we're going to try our very, very best. So there is Tingana. He's just taking it easy for 2 seconds and he's just on the banks of the Mulawati, which is great for us. Hopefully we can get round and down the Mulawati before he gets in there, which would be really nice, and hopefully we can keep up with him now that he's going to start moving again. We know Tingana and how he likes to disappear, so I'm going to try and see if I can't keep up with him. And while I do that, let's go across to James Hendry, who's with this cheetah, and he's going to get us off and running on the school drive. Well, good afternoon and welcome to the 2 schools that are joining us this afternoon from South Africa. So unfortunately we had a few little minor technical difficulties with my friend Taylor, and so you are now in South Africa, can you believe it? So a special welcome to Plantation Elementary and Loarum Elementary, and as you can see, we have such an exciting afternoon ahead of us. We have one of the most beautiful animals in the world, and my favorite, the leopard. Now my name is Tristan, and on camera today I've got Sebastian, and we're going to try and keep up with this male leopard because he's been hunting all afternoon and we've been trying to follow him through thick undulating terrain. So there's been bumps and there's been all kinds of trees and things in our way as we've tried to follow him. So we're going to try and keep up with him. You'll see there are some other vehicles here. Now these other vehicles are full of guests that have come to see the animals in real life. So hopefully we will, between the 3 of us, be able to keep him with us and be able to keep seeing him. He is walking quite a bit, so hopefully we'll be able to get a decent view of him before he goes into some places that we're going to really struggle to follow him. But look at how beautiful he is. Do you see his spots? So he's very different to the cheetah in that his spots look like they've exploded. You see, he's got what's called rosettes. So those are markings that look like spots that have blown out and have got little gold in between. He's also very short compared to the cheetah and is much stronger. And look, he's spraying, he's marking his territory. So while he's walking like this, he's going to spray his wee. And can you believe his wee smells like popcorn? So if you've ever eaten popcorn, you'll know what popcorn tastes like and smells like. And that's what the wee smells like. His wee smells like popcorn, so he's lucky he doesn't have stinky wee like some of the other cats that we have out here. But isn't he beautiful as he goes through the bush? We're going to try and get around so I can show you his face, because he's got a big, mean looking face, because he's our territorial male. Now, territorial male means that he is the male that is in charge of this area. So he's basically the big daddy of the leopards in our section of Djuma. So he looks after this area and he makes sure that he keeps all the other daddies away and protects his cubs and protects all the mommies that are here. So he's a very, very big, powerful leopard, and he's a very interesting leopard because he goes a long way and moves a lot. Now remember, you can ask questions if you send them through to your teacher. We will try and answer as many questions as possible. So if you have any questions about the leopard, or if you want to even say hello or anything like that, you can send the questions to your teacher and we'll try and answer them. But look how beautiful he is. He's really big. See how big his neck is? He's got a massive neck. And we're going to try and keep up with him. He's moving so quickly, it's not easy. And that's because it's this time of the day when he likes to move. He likes to try and hunt at this time of the day. We've seen him trying to chase some of the animals already. So it's really the time of day where leopards are most active. Everybody always thinks that leopards are strictly nocturnal, but actually leopards will spend a lot of their time walking around at sunset and sunrise, and that means that they are called crepuscular. Can you say that? Crepuscular? So crepuscular is a word for an animal active at dawn and dusk, which means sunrise and sunset. So our leopard is busy just walking next to me at the moment. Look how beautiful that is, and he's scent marking as he goes. So he's going to go up towards trees and he'll rub his face, lift his tail and spray more of that popcorn smelling urine. Look at that. So we are so lucky because leopards are very shy animals. They're not animals we get to see that often because of their sort of demeanor. They like to be hidden and in thickets. They don't really like all the attention that we sometimes give them. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right around in front of him, and then we're going to get him walking past us, and it's going to be very, very beautiful, and we'll be able to see his face a little bit better. I just want to see which way he's going to take, because there's really a nice big pathway here. And this is what you've got to do sometimes with animals, is you've got to predict which way they're going to walk, and then you park close to where they're going to walk, and then you can view them. So I think we're going to be right on the money here, Seb. Right about... let's see, which way is he going to go? Maria, you want to know, what do leopards eat, and do they only hunt? Yes, they do only hunt, and leopards will eat almost anything. So they like to eat insects and small animals, so they'll hunt things like deer, and they'll hunt things like rabbits, and they'll go after even tortoises, and like I say, insects, as much as even baby elephants and baby giraffes. So they go after lots of very big things. Look at him, look how beautiful he is. And now I think he was hoping there was going to be some water here. Remy, you're asking what are leopards looking for exactly? Well, Remy, what they're looking for is they're looking for food or females. Leopard is an animal that wants to either mate with females, so he's trying to find females, or he's trying to find food, which means he's going to be looking for, like I said, little rabbits, and he'll be looking for small animals like deer and those kind of things that he can then hunt and kill and eat. So that's what he's busy doing at the moment. But while he's looking for animals to hunt, he's also going to mark his territory, so that if any other leopard is in this area, it then knows that, okay, there's a big dominant male, and that I mustn't try my luck, I mustn't try and steal any of his territory from this area. So that's why he does that. Hopefully he's going to lie down. Oh, there we go. That's good news for us. So we're going to try and see if we can't just get a little bit closer to him so that you can see him. Now that he's sitting down, it's really going to be a lot easier for us to see him. Right, so there we go. We're going to have a better view from this side now that he's sitting down. There we go, look at that. Isn't that magnificent? He's a beautiful cat. You can see he's breathing quite heavy because he's hot. It's quite a warm afternoon today, so that's a beautiful visual. Now, my friend Taylor has fixed all of her technical issues, and she's got the other big cat of Africa, and she's super excited to show you. Well, we did. Unfortunately, our leopard jumped out of the tree. It was in a tree, and then he started vocalizing, which means that he was calling and he was making his sawing sound, which is not something we hear all the time. So I was hoping that we were going to get it in time, but unfortunately, he finished a little bit early and jumped out the tree too quickly for us to stay with him. But he's going into an area now that we're really going to struggle to follow him. So we're going to try our very best, but it gets very thick and very dense here. Oof, no, he's going the wrong way as well. Let's try though. Come on, Seb. We're going to be adventurers. Amy, you're wondering why their pee smells like popcorn. Amy, the short answer to that is I have no idea why it smells like that. There's a chemical that's in it that will probably be very similar to the scent that you find in popcorn, but why it smells like that is anyone's guess. I have no idea why you would want popcorn smelling pee, but if you're a leopard, apparently that's the way to go, and apparently that's what everybody likes, and so that's why they do it. But there's really, I don't have an actual idea as to why they do it. But I think that's unfortunately it for us. Our leopard has gone up and over. Kimberly, you want to know what my favorite thing is about leopards? Well, Kimberly, my favorite thing about... Oh, listen. So that's him calling. That's him telling everybody, this is my territory, you stay away. So that's not something we hear every day. That's so cool. Well, Kimberly, there's so many things about leopards that I absolutely love. I can't tell you just one thing, but I love the fact that they are animals that survive on their own. They are very, very strong for their size. They're probably one of the strongest cats that we have out here. So they're an incredible animal in that they're able to survive on their own. They have huge amounts of power. They're beautiful. And, well, there's just something about them that I really like. Now, I'm trying to negotiate this thicket, which means I'm trying to get through here. It's full of holes in the... Oh, what about here, Seb? I think we might have found a way to get out of here. Yes, here we go. It's going to be quite difficult, but we're going to do it. So we have to hold on, everybody. Now, let's just get into low range and into our diff lock. Oh, there we go. Now we're in our low range. And now, hold on, we got to get up here. No, Rusty, come on, Rusty, you've got to go. So Rusty is the name of the vehicle that we have. Now, Rusty doesn't want to try and climb here so well, so we're going to try with a little bit more momentum and see if I can't get up. There we go. Well done, Rusty. Okay, now where did our leopard go? That's the next question. So now we've got to try and find our leopard. He was over here, and then he went... There he is, lying in the grass. So sure, we managed to find and catch up with him, and he's now lying down, which is good news because it was getting a bit tiring going up that hill. But it's been a good adventure, at least, to be able to get to where he was. Kevin, you want to know if leopards are friendly towards humans. Well, Kevin... No, not really. If you come across a leopard at night and you're on foot, you have to be quite careful because leopards could be very dangerous to you if you were on foot and you came across them at night. After all, they eat meat, so it's not an animal that you want to try and go after. They also see predators as people as predators, so they've had years of us hunting them, which means they see us as a threat. So most of the time they'll try and move away, but if they feel like they can't go anywhere and they're cornered, then you'll find a situation where they're going to come at you and they're going to try and protect themselves. And a leopard has a 50% chance of either fighting with you or running from you, but generally, if they feel like they're in a place and they can't get away, then they will fight with you, and you'll never be able to fight with a leopard. He's far too strong and powerful, this male. He's got big shoulders and is a lot more powerful than what we are. And you see those big teeth? Look at those big canines. Beautiful. Hopefully he's going to call for us right next to where we are now. Look at those eyes. See how he's just listening? Trying to pick up what's going on. So now at this time of the night, their eyesight becomes much better than what ours is, and they're able to see a lot better than a lot of the other animals. Hudson, you say his face looks a lot like a lion's. Are they related? Well, Hudson, they are part of the same family. So they are part of a family called the Pardus family, which is all the cats that can roar. So tigers, leopards, jaguar, and lions, they are all in that same family together. But they are not in the same exact group as a lion, so they're not a lion themselves. They differentiate a little, they're different in a little bit of their structure and the way that they look and the spots and the way that they behave. That differentiates them, but they are actually still cats, so they're the same as what the lions are, part of the big cat family. So cheetah is in a different family because they are not able to roar. So even though a cheetah is a big cat and it looks very similar to the lions and the leopards, they are a part of a different family because they can't make the same sound that the leopards and the lions and the tigers and the jaguars can make. But look at that. Brandon, you want to know what time it is here in South Africa? Well, it's around sunset, and it's now, because we're going out of our winter into our summer, the sun is setting a little bit on the early side. So the sun is already set, and it is now 6:10 in the evening on this side of the world. So it's us, we're going into our night, whereas I would imagine you are in your daytime now. So you're going to be just starting your day at school, and that's because you're on the other side of the world, and the world turns and the sun stays in one place, and as the world's turning, the sun then obviously can't shine everywhere. It can only shine on one side of the world, and so you get the sun, then we have to be in darkness, and when we get the sun, then it's your night time on that side. So it's 6:10 in the evening at the moment. But you see how our leopard has got his mouth open and he's breathing quite heavily? Because he's very tired and he's very hot. And so when they breathe like this is a way of them being able to cool down, because the saliva in their mouth as they breathe evaporates, and that causes cooling on the tongue, and then the blood that's cooler in the tongue goes back into the body of this animal. Now, from one spotted beautiful cat to another, and I'm not talking about James, he's not a spotted beauty, but he does have some cheetah.